Welcome back. I'm joined now by Barbara Traylor-Smith with Retirement Outfitters. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Jen.
So you actually just told me a really interesting story. Today we're talking about something that's very timely and very important, planning for the possibility of a brush fire.
That's right.
You have some experience with this.
I do. I was in San Diego during the 2003 fires, and it was quite a surreal time. There was about a week that we were not able to get to work, and that we had actually 3 fires around us. And so, one of the things that I'm hearing from clients and constituents and whatnot is, they're nervous. We have a lot of fires in Colorado. We have a lot of fires around the West, and one of the things there are some things that we can do in planning. We talk a lot about planning, and so what are the things we can do in planning? And so I thought it might be interesting for us to review some of those today.
Perfect. Let's start with coverage, because you know me, I'm still new at everything.
That's right.
How do you even know if you're covered? How do you go about finding that out?
Exactly. So you want to get with your property and casualty agent and make sure what your coverage on your home is. One of the things that I have found in my experience is, you think you're not in an area of real concern for this kind of thing, but when you get a high wind or those kinds of things, structures that you wouldn't normally think are in an area of concern all of a sudden become an area of concern. So now is a really good time to find out what your coverages are, and it's something you should do periodically anyway, but you know what? No time like the present, right?
Always. So you and I just talked about a defensible area.
Yeah.
Before moving here, I had never even heard of that, never been near a wildfire or a brush fire. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, exactly. So your fire department will give you some idea of what a defensible area should be around your home. Obviously, it makes a big difference about where you live, but that's basically creating a space so that there is not fire coming right up. So vegetation, trees, brush, those kinds of things, trash coming right up to the home, just weeds. I've noticed around town, we got the weeds are out, right? It's July, here they come. And those kinds of things can, catch fire and then keep things going. So keeping a defensible space around your house, fire department can be very helpful, fire marshal can be very helpful in determining what that is for you.
Which obviously it's not a guarantee though, because you actually just told me
Absolutely. My challenge was the house that I had was on the edge of a cliff, and so when the fire came, it came up that cliff. It was a 50-foot wall fire, and even the 100 feet of defensible space we had didn't help.
Wow.
But most of the time that's not the case. Most of the time a defensible space is very useful.
And I guess lastly, let's talk about how can meeting your neighbors, maybe networking with them, help you out in this situation?
I'll go back to the same story. I had a gentleman down the way from me. He was about a mile away. He could see up a canyon that came to a gully that came down, and we knew if that fire got to that gully that was it was going to come down and come straight up. So he was watching it for me because I couldn't see it, and so he was calling me to say, okay, it's there, and that's when we knew that we had to get out. Luckily, that fire, it didn't happen. The next fire it did is when the happened, but having that communication among neighbors, we became fast friends with some people we didn't know very well. So those are the things is now, while it's not a threat in your area, knowing people and having a system of communication, because our emergency responders can only do so much on a quick notice. People in a neighborhood can do a lot more.
Right. Wow. That's definitely a crazy story. Yeah.
It is. It's and like I said, it's surreal. It's one of those things that you don't plan on, you don't expect, and when we saw it here in our community when we had the fire down practically in town a few months ago, that it can go very fast right now, and so we want to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you won't ever actually have to use those things, but might as well be prepared because that possibility is real. So all of this information will be available for you on westernslopenow.com. And we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.